If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Just another day, some different way, with a new saying on some other day. Sinner man commits sin and think he done committed a win. Hating on their brother, mocking their favor, hurting their neighbor, and of course laughing about it as they read it in the paper. But I tell you, son, you need to table this here evil and use hard price of your head, son of God, you done did bad. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Sin upon sin, unforgiveness for the win. Refuse to acknowledge they wrong. Double down on they sins like a bong, using their platform up on the throne. Preaching and lying and dying, then they done to do they frying. All because of the lying and refusal to admit the truth of the heart, would treat like an awful fart. They done did do sod for their wickedness of the mind, for the money they sought after on the grind. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Now I say done here, time for a new view. Approach and look low as you walk to the pew. Gaze upon God upon the altar and consider your ways. Last days, remember all they hurt and all the lies you done did, tries and all the harm you did do farm. When you peppered they palm on they harm, as you spread hurt and sexual immorality across the land like a traveling band, standing by whose own hand, one man crooked bag. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are Now consider in the grace of the heart, the Lord your God sure did taught. Your offense to him was a sin, but I tells you there is another way for the win. Approach the confessional booth, approach the priest and tell him the truth. Subdue that crooked hoof of a lie, which shall make you die. Confess your sins and shortcomings of this done here life, and don't battle back all the awful things you done did do. Confessing to God through the priest is what you shall do. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, if you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Remember, list all the offenses of God and man you committed in the days of pride and vain pursuit. Still recall how you acted when you dressed nice in that suit. Who, man, say done, don't give a hoot, and that the pain of confessing your sins will be too much. But I done tells you in such lying to God and man and sinning against creation is just too much. Too much of what? Down in a rut, body dying and withering away because of a lie that you try to hide up really high and keep from the world, so you remain in the dark. But I tell you, angels and demons see what you do, and when you die, all those people you knew will also see what you done did do. That is who. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Remember and list all the offenses of God and man you commit in the days of pride and vain pursuit. Still recall how you acted when you dressed nice in that suit. Who've man say done, don't give a hoot, and that the pain of confessing your sins will be too much. But I done tells you in such lying to God and man and sin against creation is just too much. Too much of what? Down in a rut, body dying and withering away because of a lie that you try to hide up really high and keep from the world, so you remain in the dark. But I tell you, angels and demons see what you do when you die. All those people you knew will also see what you done did do. That is who. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Now approach the confessional booth and done did do say, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned my ways and my wrongs. I slipped into a dark den, the murder of a man, the adultery to a woman, the stilling of an innocence, the blasphemy and stripping of an honor, and the violence of the tongue I did undo for fun was my ways in them last days. But I have to say I'm sorry for all of them, and I really wanna change, so my life I may rearrange, and my soul done did to remove the mange of my hurt, which was mentioned in the last song by Bird. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Now go do use here penance and pay what you owe. Lay yourself really low, God's mercy and forgiveness for the blow. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. If you retain their sins, they are retained. Before he ascended, he done did tell you what was good and right. Do what John 20:23 says and get yourself out of the night. If you forgive their sins, they are forgiven. Yeah, last day away.